welcome once again to Starla's Art Studio. So, although I saw this idea a while ago and I wanted this to be the first video, I ended up wanting to go with a tutorial video first and saving this for later. And since that's finally published, I can now move on to this one, which was an sort of art challenge, I guess. Okay, so to really get into it, today's video is going to be a redraw video, but not quite like the Edit Girls redraws. This one is a small celebration for the new decade. I've seen quite a few posts and other artists on Instagram who've done this, so I thought I'd just actually make a video out of it. So basically, I'm going to redraw something I drew 10 years ago. It took a while to get this video done, but it was definitely a fun one. I spent a long while going through a lot of my old drawings trying to find something that was from 2010 or 2009, and I ended up with a drawing from 2009. I remember drawing this too. It was a girl standing outside in a field with a tree in the background. I think there was a bird and a bee randomly placed in the sky, but I didn't really include them in the redraw. Oh, there were also flowers in the grass. There were also random colored dots in the drawing, which I don't really know why. They were just randomly colored and placed polka dots that I put all over the paper. Please don't ask me why they're there. I have no idea. I remember doing them. I remember putting random colored dots everywhere, but I don't remember why. I also didn't include it in the redraw though. But I could've. Now that I think about it, I really could've. I really could've recreated the lined paper look and could've used colored dots for shading or made it have that old comic book look. It's kind of too late for that now, but it's still an idea, I guess. Oh yeah, okay, so I remember the notebook that I drew this in. When I was little, my mom used to give me these little journals to write in every day after school, so she could get me used to writing and so she could see what I did every day when she got back from work. But I also liked drawing back then, so I would also write on pretty much every other page that I wrote something. So typically, after I would write something, I would draw a picture to illustrate it. This page actually didn't really have a writing with it. It was just me drawing just for fun. But it's one of the more complete looking drawings that I had in here, so I chose to pick it. I couldn't really find many drawings that I could redraw from 2010, so that's why this one was actually from 2009. I think I stated that already, but yeah. This one is a 2009 drawing, which for some reason, realizing how old I was back then, I thought I could draw better for that age. I mean, I was still a child, yeah, but I don't know, for some reason I thought my drawing skill was a little different. But maybe that's a bit unfair to past me because I did notice while I was looking through a whole bunch of drawings that I had saved in drawers and desks, I seem to have started a more consistent just stream of just drawing almost constantly, more in 2013 and 14. So I liked it, but I probably felt like it was more like a hobby, and I started really getting into it when I got a little bit older, which makes sense, everyone does get into something or practice and just in general gets better at something the more they practice it and at different rates. Okay, so going back to the whole 2014-2015 era of my drawing, around this time I was definitely really going into an anime phase. And back then I honestly didn't know it was that common to be into drawing anime, but once I started posting it online, I definitely saw it was super common, and most artists really do go through an anime phase. And these are just some examples of what I used to draw and what my phase looked like. Back then, I used to Google for things like anime hair, anime clothes, anime eyes, anime hands, just to get some ideas for my own drawings. I used to just print out a collection of all these different reference images and I used to carry them around with me anytime I felt like drawing. More recently, I like to use just different photographs and reference pictures and just a bunch of random things just for inspiration, like sometimes not even people. Sometimes I'll just look at a fruit and boom, inspiration. What if this was a person? This was an interesting redraw because it was kind of like me just trying to figure out a way to update the energy of the original, I guess is the best way to put it, which was really just me drawing for fun. That's basically all the original was, which I guess now that I think about it, I kind of want to go back to. Okay, so you know how there are those artist memes and comics where every time an artist is trying to draw something and then they're doing the line art over the sketch layer, and then when you remove the sketch layer, the line art just looks gross and weird and awkward. I personally haven't experienced that, but so I feel like that's because I just get way too caught up with detail in the sketch layer. I will spend way too long cleaning up the sketch layer and try to make sure every detail is just the way I want it to, which honestly you can see it in this drawing right now. I never added a line art layer. The sketch basically became the line art. And you can see this in some of my other videos too. I often spend way too long in the sketch layer cleaning up lines, trying to make sure it looks perfect, instead of just finishing the whole picture, getting the entire idea of the character across. And I feel like this is just perfectionism seeping out, or just me really wanting it to look good or perfect instead of just really enjoying the process on its own, which I really want to get back to. Especially because I feel like I can just work faster that way. If I get so caught up in tiny details, then I'll just spend way too long on one thing, and then it ends up taking much longer to actually finish it. And I feel like I would just work faster if I just let ideas and the drawing just flow out and just not get distracted so easily. I guess this kind of also carries into animation. Little frames, I get stuck in details rather than just finishing the movement, getting in those in-betweens, and then just letting it flow. You ever felt that with something? I legitimately want to know, by the way. You can say in the comments if you have any stories, but yeah, I just kind of want to draw how I used to. Not the exact skill level, obviously, but just the free-flowing ideas. Alrighty, so back to the drawing. When coloring this, I had a couple ideas with how I was going with it. I did want it to look not as simple as the original. The original one just had a girl with regular pants, a shirt, and some shoes. Not a lot to work with, but it let me have a lot of artistic freedom with it, I guess. I completely changed the outfit. Instead of just a regular shirt, pants, and shoes, she is wearing a cute little, I guess, ruffled-esque top. Pants that are basically like overalls, kind of like these suspender, long, kind of baggy pants. She has a little orange headband and choker necklace, and these nice little white and orange shoes. I chose to make her bright orange and a dark blue to help her stand out from the background. As you can see, the background has a lot of blues, very light turquoise colors, and greens for the grass and tree, but because her body is right in front of the sky, I wanted to use more warm colors to contrast on the blue sky. I wanted to use warm colors to put a lot of emphasis on her body and her face as a contrast to the blue sky behind her. So besides the actual girl and her clothes and all that, one thing I'm definitely glad I've been getting better at is backgrounds. Most of the time when I would draw characters, they would find themselves in the typical white void many OCs and fanart characters have often found themselves. The more I drew, I did start trying to add little backgrounds or patterns and shapes behind them. But I also did want to get good at, drawing buildings, a bush, maybe a nice cloud. That's always nice. In the past, I've been able to see some improvement with backgrounds, as I can say I'm pretty happy with the way I draw certain things like clouds and water. Look at those little puffy boys. But I do want to get better at other things like trees, leaves, and grass. I think it's super interesting, like sometimes some of the simplest looking things can be harder to draw a certain way. Look at the grass. It's technically just a bunch of little blades of grass, just little lines, but not the right coloring or placement can make it look really awkward or just strange, and like it's grass but also doesn't really fit the angle or the distance, how far the viewer would be from the grass. Or clouds is another example. If you were to tell someone about a cloud, how would you describe it? Like someone who couldn't see, how would you describe a cloud? Oh, it's just a big white ball of fluff in the sky. But like, as simple as that description sounds, it's also, how do you draw that? But as simple as that sounds, getting a cloud to really look like a cloud is kinda tricky if you don't know how to. There's so many ways to stylize clouds. They either look more puffy, more swirly, more spread out, like when you separate cotton or something like that. And then more realistic clouds have so many values and colors and shadings depending on how many of them clump together, whether they're in front of the sun, and at different times of the day. I just think it's an interesting thing to think about. Alrighty, well, this drawing is basically done. All that's left is just me adding a few extra detail in like the shoes, the pants, and then adding my little signature at the top. You can expect to see this and the original drawing on my Twitter and Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you might notice I haven't been posting as often, but that's because I wanted this drawing to be my first drawing of the year, but for one, that didn't really happen, and this video's taken a bit longer than I wanted it to, and it's fine. However, there has been a bit of a build-up of drawings that I've been wanting to post on Instagram, so once this goes up, you should expect to see plenty more posts. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and that you'll be able to follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and a couple more sites that I've started up, which you'll see on the end card, and I'll definitely try to be more active on them. But yeah, so have a stellar day, guys. Bye!